Sea of Thieves' 9th season released earlier today. Despite being smaller in scale compared to the prior 8 seasons, everything added in this update is a welcome change to the game. It focuses on removing a lot of the tedium, refining the mechanics, and smoothing out some jank. With a small number of new activities, is it time to hop back onto Sea of Thieves? Season 9's main feature is a brand new chest. This is called the Chest of Fortune and is the season's unofficial namesake. The Chest of Fortune aims to refresh the world event sandbox by encouraging people to fight over the world events again. Quite frankly, the world events before this update are mainly left untouched. The chest will move to other world events in future seasons, but right now it's only available in the Fort of Fortune. It will sell for 20,000 gold, and if you turn in 30 of them, you'll earn the Fate of Fortune figurehead, sails, and hull, with more parts being added in future seasons. The best part about the chest is that by adding cosmetics each season and moving the chest, seasons will have a spotlight world event. As it's still early on, it's unclear if this will cause bloodbaths at the Fort of Fortune like in Season 2, although I have full confidence this will be the case. World events have been made much easier for smaller crews to complement this change. Rare love attracting new players and have seen a lot of world events aren't being completed by smaller crews. Now, if you're an experienced player, these PvE encounters will be far too easy. If you're new, these will be a decent challenge, but not overly tedious. Each world event will scale too if other crews come to help you out. So you can't cheese it or send off a crewmate from your galleon to get an easy world event done. Most of the changes boil down to smaller health pools and less enemies spawning at once. With the Fort of Fortune, the Skeleton Lord waves have been removed and mixed skeletons will spawn in waves now, instead of all the same type. More food is found on forts to allow you to forego supplying up before tackling a world event. Ashen Lords have the greatest rebalancing. They fixed a bug which prevented their attacks from tracking the player, so the flamethrower and lunge attacks will actually track you now. The damage has been reduced to compensate, but the aggression level is fantastic. The Ashen Lords finally feel like what they're meant to be. As for the other world event changes, the Ghost Fleet is back without Flameheart, which is good in the sense because we've missed it. Also, when you consider this is just 3-year-old content, it does leave something to be desired. Rare have revisited Reaper's chests as the other headline content. Simply, they've added another commendation like the Chest of Fortune, allowing you to earn the Fate of Fortune weapons, with this season's offerings being the Flintlock and the Cutlass. They've altered the beacon, making it visible after picking up the chest. The hope is to encourage people to fight over them like they did before. We'll see if that will be the case. They will spawn more closely to islands too, as shipwrecks will no longer spawn way out near the Red Sea. This is partially why they remained untouched for the last couple years. That really wraps up the main content. The rest of the changes are repurposed items or fixes to make the game less tedious. The 2 stars of the show are the harpoon changes and the ability to sell stuff from collector's chests directly. This is borderline broken in how good the changes are. Look how fast the harpoon is, and then look at how quickly you can unload it at the sovereigns. It's way better than having to take things off manually. Although this does not work for harpoon rowboats, and that's a damn shame. And the collector's chest selling. Look at this absolute fucking magic. Ta-da! Both changes are akin to the storage crate update in Season 5, and I'm here for it. On a minor note about selling, you can now sell flags won in hourglass battles to the Reaper skeleton at each outpost, which finally brings parity to both factions' progression. Sticking with selling, Adelric is a new NPC at Stephen Spoils, so the Hunter's Call is up to full strength after Merrick's passing. Similarly, you can now sell meat and fish to the Sovereigns, but you can also sell these items to the Hunter's Call for a 50% gold boost. Food for thought. In terms of accessibility, after 5 years, Rare has added the ability to change the brightness slider. It's a welcome change, even if it does really mess with the beauty of the game. Moreover, the ship hit sound now has its own slider, so you can turn down the music and the sound effects separately. They've added this other weird noise which sounds like you kill someone with a cannonball every time you hit a ship. It makes the whole thing really confusing, and this should be removed. Pirate Legends get some remixed voyages which are available for doubloons. They come in 3 varieties. The first is a spin on the old Black Powder Stashes voyages, where you'll be heading to islands to get Stronghold kegs and Athenic eggs. It's okay, it's mainly a route to get your commendation done. The same can be said for the Cursed Treasure voyage. You can head to an island to kill some skellies, then you can dig up their cursed chests. The loot can be the Chest of Sorrow, Chest of 1,000 Grogs, or Chest of Rage. Rare have stated they've added a new chest, the Chest of Boundless Sorrow, a reskin of the Chest of Sorrow that cries forever. This isn't exactly new, as it was featured in the Sunken Pearl Tall Tale as the Chest of Everlasting Sorrow. This new skull contains the 6 Flames of Fate, allowing you to cycle through them. It's the only thing you need to start the Fort of the Damned now, or simply you can use it to decorate your ship. It deals with the most annoying part of the Fort of the Damned. Gathering the flames was never that fun, especially the pink flame. Expect to see lots more Fort of the Damned this season for that very reason. Keep in mind, no new commendations or rewards exist for any of these voyages. They will act as a means of getting the old commendations completed or earning gold. Non-pirate legends get new captain voyages in the Devil's Roar 2. The Meg spawn rate has been fixed, which means they'll spawn like they used to. For the last few months, Megalodons have been bugged and don't spawn in many zones. The fog, introduced in Shrouded Spoils, has been updated to spawn in more areas, making the occurrence more common and more profound. I'm happy to see both of these changes updated. Speaking of which, loot will also have birds spawn above it when you sink a player ship. Coupled with this, Red Sea runners will have the loot spawn back in bounds. This is ultimately done this season due to the salty players who will put the world event keys out of bounds. Sticking with fixes, sword blocking has been updated to be more consistent. I personally love the sword, but hated how bad the block mechanic felt. It was true RNG. I am incredibly upset though that this was saved for a season and not released when ready. When you consider this is a huge issue, it's poor form to hold back as padding. Season 9 has the best offering of cosmetics in the last few updates and easily the best season pass since seasons have started. The season pass contains the Prosperous Privateer set, the most pirate themed set we've had for years. It's been a point of contention for players, with the Emporium receiving the vast majority of cosmetics and stores just get scraps. When players aren't getting pirate stuff in their pirate game, it's lovely to have the feedback addressed. This is going to be one of the most popular sets of all time and for good reason. The other season earnables are related to food. So you get a chocolate coin banjo, a banana hat, a spatula cutlass, a spoon peg leg, and a chocolate fountain capstan. I am so thankful these aren't themed around spring again. The legendary items have possibly the biggest disparity going. The spyglass, while nice, is not worthy of a pirate legend item, seeing as we only get 6 per year. It does look to be more closely themed with the seasonal flag, sails, etc. than a pirate legend item. I get the feeling this was upgraded last minute. The legendary Bone Hunter jacket takes first place of the best season pass items ever. It was originally shown in various art and appeared in some of the clothing shops near launch. Players begged for it, and Rare said no because the model isn't made for players. 5 years later, and here it is. Expect me to be wearing this in about a week's time. On one final note, no infinite tier has been added and the gold is still far too prominent in the pass. Rare could really add value here or replace them entirely with doubloons, especially as there's a use for them now. After 9 seasons, I expect this to be the best form of the season pass. Speaking of doubloon sinks, Season 1's items are now in stores, minus the Shroudbreaker tattoo, scar, makeup, flag and sails. These were always slated to be coming back at some point. It's awesome to see a use for doubloons and these will set you back an incredible amount. See why I now suggested to swap the gold with doubloons. Unfortunately, if you are a core player who has supported Season 1 or any other season finishing those passes, this feature isn't for you and you miss out on being able to spend your doubloons. The clothing shops have part of a new set. The Gold Hoarders items are in store for a hefty price. They're priced in the hundreds of thousands. The clothing looks to be the costume broken up, so it isn't actually brand new and it's not the full set. Only 728 days have passed since the last brand new full set was released for this game. Nonetheless, the cosmetics are amazing. You need to be level 75 in the Gold Hoarders to purchase them all. I think they would have been better tied with commendations that don't have rewards yet. Overall, a superb showing for earnable rewards, and don't forget the Fate of Fortune items too and the Emissary rewards. The latter are the fishing rod and tankard. The Emissary Ledger rewards need to speed up because waiting 4 months for these 2 items is extremely slow. Finally, there are some items in the Pirate Emporium and a new plunder pass for sale. In that case, is this the season everyone has been waiting for? Not necessarily, but is definitely packed with updates that everyone and their mum has been asking for. I do expect to see the World Event Sandbox being really healthy, at least until everyone has done their commendations, and I am thrilled to be fighting over the Forts of Fortune. It's going to be a nice change of pace from Season 8. The best parts of this season are the new harpoon and selling mechanics, coupled with the Chest of Fortune, future-proofing for the next few seasons. With cosmetics being the icing on the cake, the only real complaint about Season 9 is that there just needs to be more, something that isn't necessarily a bad thing. In conclusion, this is an update people have been asking for, just a bit too small to be a season. Awesome, but small. Something I'm sure many of you have heard before. Thanks for watching, make sure to subscribe for more coverage of the next few patches, and more later on. Drop a like and let me know if you're excited to get stuck into Season 9. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.